Hello, Adria and Callie. As you can see today, I even have like a little checklist of what I'm going to talk about. Put that down here somewhere. So I have this one problem that I've had for a long time, and that's that I'm an extremely restless person. I don't like being stuck in one place for too long, and I want to go places and I want to do things and I want to travel, and it's happened everywhere I've lived, whether I was in my hometown growing up, which is, more expected to be restless, but when I was in Port Angeles and I couldn't stand going to classes and work every day and not getting to do anything or go anywhere or see things. And when I was in Seattle, I had this problem. I even had this problem once when I was in Rome. So it makes sense that I have this problem again now, where I'm going to work every day and I'm trying to work on my own things, which is writing, and I don't feel like I have enough time for that, or I'm feeling really anxious, or I feel like I've been around people too much when I'm at work. A lot of this is sort of boredom, or I'm not comfortable with where I am in life and I want to go somewhere else. Which sort of, I guess, is expected when you've just gotten out of college. You still haven't quite gotten to where you want to be just yet. So these are the ways that I deal with this. Now, I'm not going to say I'm like really great at dealing with it, but it's like a method to be improved upon. Really, I just focus on the things that I love, which makes a lot of sense. And right now, those things are the rest of this video. The first is the show Twin Peaks. I started watching Twin Peaks recently and I'm almost done. My friend Anna, when I lived in Port Angeles, was the first person to tell me to watch this show. It took me 3 years, but I've finally gotten there. I love Twin Peaks. It's weird. It goes downhill a little bit in the second season, but is still interesting in a lot of ways. I really, really love Audrey Horne. She's my favorite character, and she's brilliant and bold, and I love that about her. I love Cooper and his cheeriness and his oddness and his visions. I love Hawk and his sassiness and greatest responses to things. I even love Shelley and her sort of resilience, and Gordon and his Gordonness, and Albert with his Albertness. Yeah, we'll just leave those two at that. This show has kind of been dominating my life recently, and I'm okay with that. Quite happy with that, really. Second thing is Jemma Simmons, or specifically the scene where she wakes up and the song that's playing is "God Help the Girl." I like just Jemma Simmons in general because Jemma Simmons from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., by the way, if you don't know, is basically like Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers put together, which Callie, I don't know if you've seen Captain America yet, but if you haven't seen Captain America, watch it. Jemma Simmons is amazing and she's brilliant and she just puts up with so much and she manages to get through so much. When we started the second season, she wasn't in the show. Well, we thought she was in the show, but then she wasn't in the show. It was very weird. We didn't actually get to see— oh, my cat just jumped off the bed. Hey. We didn't actually get to see Jemma Simmons until the third episode. We didn't know where she was or what was going on, and she woke up, and it's this scene of her getting ready for her day, and she's smiling, and the song called "God Help the Girl" is playing, and she is actually undercover for the bad guys, and it's really kind of terrifying, horrible situation to be in, and she puts up with it in such a great way. "God Help the Girl" is a song by God Help the Girl, which is actually a side project of a group called Sebastian and Belle, and there's a film called God Help the Girl, which we actually saw the trailer for, which is actually a musical of the music on this album for God Help the Girl. I can't play a clip of God Help the Girl, obviously, in this video because it's copyrighted material, but it's a really great song, and I'll put a link to it in the description as well as that clip of Jemma Simmons, because it's such a good way of, like, just sort of getting through the day, I think. It's such a cheery song, but other things are things that I've gotten recently that I really love. The first is In the Flesh Season 1. In the Flesh is so far cancelled, not for regular reasons, but because BBC is actually shutting down— my cat is rubbing her face on the chair. Hey. It's cancelled because BBC 3 is shutting down, and they are not renewing it for the final year of BBC 3, so hopefully it'll be picked up by another network. But I wanted to show my support for that show, so I bought the first season on DVD, and I really want to watch and buy the second season soon. The Flesh is such a great show. It's a bit dark show, but it's one of the few shows that's on right now that is written and acted just so almost flawlessly. It's just really, really good, and it deals with actual society problems, but it's using zombies as its metaphor for things. Second is a double vinyl of Agnes Obel's albums. The first is Philharmonics and the second is Aventine. I have it on vinyl, and the vinyls also came with CDs, which is pretty awesome. The music is just so beautiful and atmospheric and peaceful, and I can just keep adding on adjectives, or I can post a link to them for music in the description, which I will do. The third is this Sherlock Holmes pop-up book, because why not? There's 2 stories in it, Scandal in Bohemia and the Blue Carbuncle. Sherlock Holmes in pop-up. That's him in disguise and then out of disguise. And the third is this bee collar chain. It's really great and beautiful and just different, and I really love it. The next topic is just looking at the future and realizing that things aren't always going to be like this. Adria, in your video, you talked about how now that your future has changed, you can look at all these different possibilities for it and different things that you might want to do. I did a lot of this recently when my future changed. Months ago, I was rewatching parts of Ghost Whisperer. I can't stomach all of Ghost Whisperer because it's just so stagnant. But I really love the character Professor Rick Payne, who is this professor of the occult and anthropology, and is kind of just awesome and badass and like made me want to be a professor, which is kind of fun, and it's something that is actually worth thinking about, especially when you're looking at places like UW where the instructors are actually expected to continue working in the field that they're teaching, which is why all of our creative writing professors were all professionals who were actually published authors. It would also be nice maybe to even go into like teaching creative writing, in that it could be part of my super secret mission to subvert the way the academy views creative writing. As much as I love the creative writing professors at UW, a lot of them seem to have missed out on the word creative in the creative writing. Because not all of us want to become writers who write thinly veiled autobiography. A lot of us want to write really big, out there, creative things, and we don't always need to have instructors that write things like, is she crazy or antiquated and not in a good way? Which kind of leads into how my life is changing right now. I recently went to an orientation to become a substitute teacher, and so now I'm able to sub in one school district, and I'm going to an orientation this Thursday for another school district. So I will be subbing in classrooms soon, which will be a very interesting and somewhat terrifying change in my life. Callie, you're worried about the classes you'll be taking. And obviously by the time this video is up, you've already selected the classes you'll be taking for the next quarter. And I know that worries you, and trust me, I have regrets about classes that I didn't take, which are mostly classes that Missy took, because she took Arthurian legend and Sherlock Holmes and film noir and like other classes. Like, that girl did well. But at the same time, then I remember that I took 4 romantics classes. I took every British romantics class available, and even one that wasn't technically a British romantics class. And I'm never going to regret that, because I love that era and it means so much to me, and I love learning more about that and becoming better at understanding that. I don't get so many headaches anymore when I read it, and I love that. And that's an era of literature that I will always love to study, and I still will study, because learning doesn't end when you graduate college. Maybe you'll go back to college and you'll keep taking classes, but you'll also keep learning anyway outside of school, and you don't need somebody giving you grades to validate that learning. You can go to the library, you can travel the world, and you can keep learning these things and exploring these things, and you can look things up online, or you can even sit in classes or look at what lectures are being had at your local library, if libraries still have lectures. I don't really know. But this isn't the end, and life doesn't end here. Life doesn't end when you graduate college. I said last video that it's like a part of you dies, like a life is ending and you're starting a new one, and that's true, but there's still you, and you're still you, and even though you change, there's still the core you, and that is still there, and your life is still going, and your existence is still going, and we'll just keep learning, and we'll keep changing and living new lives and being better people. And it really doesn't end here, and it feels like an end because part of it is, and part of it's a death, but it's not final. It's not all there is. These are just some things that I wanted to talk about, because life can be a bit difficult emotionally. If they helped in some way, or at least were entertaining in some way, I gotta go to work, like, really soon. See you next week, Adria, and liked your video last week, Callie, and bye!